so I don't
Perfect. Do you need anything?
try to. All right. Welcome to Nacho Problem and other strategies to get students talking about math. My name is Andrea Earl. I am a certificated learning and achievement specialist in Santa Ana, California, in the Santa Ana Unified School Districts. So I support teachers and administrators, K-12, mostly with instructional technology, and I am a recovering math teacher. I'm also a Canvas certified educator and a Google certified trainer and a bunch of other stuff. So there's all my connections. So I really hope you'll connect with me in the future. All right. Quick few little housekeeping items. What happened here? Okay. Couple housekeeping. If anybody can't hear or see, or if there's a problem, let me know. I am going to share the link to the entire presentation at the end, so no worries. But we're going to do it all through Nearpod today. You do get CE credit if you're with the school district. What else? There'll be an attendance. I think you've probably already seen this, attendance feedback form. Please do that, okay, for BCS employees. The standards that we're going to be talking about, math, helping students become computational thinkers and creative communicators. And then for teachers to help you become designers of innovative learning experiences for your students. Okay. So if you haven't had a chance, please go ahead and just give me a little context of what's your role in education. A minute that hasn't done that yet. Get the chat out of the way. In the world. Oh, for those of you who haven't used Nearpod before, you should have, oh, you're not going to have, didn't I not put that screen here? All right, in the top right, in the right-hand corner of your screen, you should have a little paper and a pencil. I don't have it because I'm the teacher in the course, but it's a little paper and pencil. If you click that, that allows you to take notes throughout the presentation. When you first open that tray, you can select whether you want your notes to go to your Google Drive, your Microsoft 360 or 365, or if you want an email. The trick is, though, keep that tray open the whole time. And when you add notes, your notes will be with the slides when you get your email or when you get that file. If you close the tray, you're gonna get one set of notes, and then when you open it again, you'll have to re-enter your information so that you can get the rest. So if you can, just leave it open on the side. You can add any notes or details, and then those are for you. Okay, and those are totally private. Nobody sees them but you. All right, let's quick over here to the teacher view. And let's see, we have a lot of people we have a lot of K2 classroom teachers. Awesome. We have, let's see. What did I put for Jay? One district administrator, welcome. Glad you could join us. All right. And so this presentation really is for classroom teachers and to help you become more innovative in teaching math, using strategies that help getting kids to talk. Because I don't know about you, but my problem in the classroom is that you'd have a couple kids, always would shout out, always would have the answers. And then I had other kids that just would never say a word. Now, whether it's because they needed more time to think and process, and those shouters were not giving it to them, or because they were just shy and they were afraid they might not have the right answer. So I really decided to use these technology tools I'm going to share with you with intentionality so that I could hear every student in the classroom and help build a growth mindset with my students. All right, I gotta get this out of the way. So our first activity is which one doesn't belong. So if you've done which one doesn't belong, go ahead and just do a thumbs up in the Zoom. I'm just curious. or you can put it in the chat, either in your window or in the chat. So a few people have done it. Which one doesn't belong is a great way to get students just thinking about a concept. So I like this little template, and I do it in Nearpod with students because that gives them all an opportunity to share. So oops. Did I not make this can you draw on this? I'm on the teacher view. I think I messed up. All right, we'll come back in a moment. I totally messed up. Oh, I'm so sorry. All right, we're going to come back to that. All right, so in today's session, I'm going to share 3 strategies that I really like that get kids talking about math. We're going to try the tool as a student, and then I'm going to kind of give you the behind the scenes of how the tool works and how I set it up from the teacher point of view. All right, so the first one I said is the first one I'm doing is notice and wonder. All right, there we go. One image. It's super important here that students have their independent think time. As I said, they have the opportunity to record their thinking, their reasoning, their wondering, and then they have the opportunity to share. So let's go ahead and try that together. So go ahead and take a minute, look at the image. This one came from Which One Doesn't Belong? It's a website. And go ahead and type in your claim. Which one doesn't belong? And then your reasoning for it, please. And give everybody about 1 minute to do that. And where'd my timer go?
Are we supposed to be able to write on it?
You should. At the bottom of your screen, you're going to have a bunch of tools. You're going to have a pencil, a marker, a text box. So I can click on the text and click in there and write. Or you can free write with the crayon or the pencil. Or you could draw. If you wanted to draw something, you could do that. If you hate what you did, you can always erase it. You can also undo. Are you seeing how that works?
I see how it works, but I don't have any of it.
Maybe try and change your screen size. It should be along the bottom of your screen. Is anyone else having trouble? Let me check the chat.
Yes, I don't have it either.
Everybody should have it. Oh, gosh, I'm a terrible teacher. Give me a second. This is totally my fault. What I did is I forgot to take it off student paste. So, there we go. Now we're back onto teacher paste, and everybody should now be on my screen. Is everybody on this screen now? Oh, get this out of there. Is everybody on there now? Everybody should now be on this screen. So sorry, I'm working on one little laptop computer. I don't have double screens, so I can't see everything that's happening in the chat. I apologize. I do have my friend Shelly in the chat, and she's going to answer questions too if you get stuck or bring anything to my attention. But can everybody write now? Let me look at teacher view. Yeah, now I can see people working. I'm going to hide your names because so as the teacher in Nearpod, and I understand that BCS, you guys actually pay for Pear Deck, which is has very similar functionality. Once you're done, you can hit submit, and then I'll see your responses. So I can see this person up here has submitted. Coming down here, we got another few people that have submitted. And I can see every student working. I really like using Nearpod or Pear Deck because I can see everybody's work in real time. And whether I'm teaching virtually or in the classroom, I can then connect with the students that I see haven't started. So I might go to this student And I would, and ask them, how can I help you get started? What are you thinking about? What are your ideas? Right? To get them going. But the beauty is once everybody submits, then when I ask someone to share, everyone has something to share. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop a few of these ideas up. So we have this one. Now, on my screen, I'm showing you my screen, right? I'm sharing my screen with you. But in the classroom, I can share the students' work with the class. So now your screen should have frozen and everybody can see this person's thinking. They said 43 because it's not a perfect square. And then here's the reasoning and the proof, right? And that's what we're looking for, the reasoning and the proof. I've now unshared, and maybe I want to show another student's work. 9, because it's the only 1-digit number. Someone else said 9 because it's the 1-digit. We got a couple people saying 16 because it's the only even number. Absolutely. Right? And this one said 16, but said because it's not odd. So 2 different reasons for the same response. All right. Prime and not square. Okay, so gave 2 reasons. Excellent. So you can kind of see the beauty of notice and wonder is that each one could be the correct answer for different reasons. And sometimes the students will figure that out very quickly. And then you just tell them, just pick one, but you've got to give your reasoning. So any questions about which one doesn't belong with claim and reasoning? All right, some of the ones I shared, people are really good about all the others are, and the one I picked is not. And that's something important because sometimes students will say, oh, 9 doesn't belong because it's 1 digit, and 16, but the reason is because 16 has a 6, and they'll give they won't categorize. So all of the numbers should fit in a category except 1. I guess that's a better way to explain it. So the categories could be 2-digit numbers for 16, 43, and 25, or the category could be square numbers for 25, 9, and 16, or the category could be composite numbers, right? So everything fits in one category except 1 is not in that category. And that's how you want students to look at it. If students need scaffold, here's a little bit of scaffold. In my opinion, blank doesn't belong because, and then all the others have or are. And that's kind of getting that grouping and that categorization vocabulary into the conversations. Okay, here's another one. This one I actually used. So I do notice and wonder at least once a week, or which one doesn't belong, okay? At least once a week. I used this one when we started our unit on volume of cylinders, before I told them we were doing volume of cylinders. So I had them do their claim and their reasoning. But then the next thing I said is, what do you notice about these? And what do you wonder about them? And I think I forgot that slide, to be honest. Oh, no, I did here. What do you wonder? And lo and behold, several students said, I wonder how much water those hold. And I was like, perfect, let's figure it out together. And that led into a discussion of what we're talking about volume of cylinders. So connecting your bell work, your warm up to your lesson and stimulating their interest, but getting them all to talk, because everybody wondered something. One boy wanted to know who had to climb up and paint the happy face on there, right? Someone else wondered how they built them, right? One wondered if the brown one was rotted because he knows wood rots. So lots of great thinking going on, but then it led into our volume discussion. All right, any questions about which one doesn't belong? Notice and wonder. Oh, I didn't share the strategy I used for them to share in class. Sorry. So I give everybody 5. I use this a protocol called think, share, discuss. Okay. Think is 5 minutes of quiet think time. No talking, everybody on their own, everybody recording their thoughts. Share And that's when I walk around to make sure that everybody has something to share for the share time. Then during share, every student gets 1 minute of uninterrupted share time. And I set a timer so that, they move along. But that way, every single person gets to share in their group. And then discuss is another 5 minutes of open discussion where they can ask each other questions and maybe share other things they thought about. So it's think, share, discuss. Gives everyone time to participate. These resources came from Which One Doesn't Belong, and in the presentation I'm sharing at the end, you'll get a link to the website. All right, any questions about that? All right, so the second activity that I love to use is I love 3-act math tasks. They're more in-depth activities that really get kids thinking and talking about math and figuring stuff out. Some of them have correct answers and some have almost correct, approximate answers. So 3-act math, step 1 is the setup. It's an engaging video or image that gets kids thinking about a topic. Act 2, you give them all the details, and then Act 3 is kind of the wrap up, the conclusion. So let's go ahead and try this together. So everyone should now be going to, we're going to use Desmos to do this. And I'm going to share the Desmos template with you as well. So everyone should now be going to Desmos. On this screen, you should be able to click on Login with Google, or you can continue without signing in. I don't care. And while you're doing that, I'm going to switch screens. And everybody should be in Act 1, Notice and Wonder. Now with students and using Desmos, I do restrict the screens, but I'm not going to do that with you today. I'm going to go ahead and play the opening video. But if you want to mute it or mute me, the link should be in Nearpod. When you're in the Nearpod, you should be able to go straight in. Is it not taking you straight in? I can also copy the link. I'll just do that as well and throw it in the chat if you don't want to go through the Nearpod. I do like sending students through the Nearpod because then I'm not giving them all sorts of links all day long. Oh, I gave you the Nearpod link. That was not the right link to give you. Hang on. It was this link. Sorry, Desmos link is next. There you go. Sorry about that. All right, so here's the introductory video. Oop, can you guys hear that? Maybe I didn't share my screen. You know what? Everybody watch the video on your own. Let's just go ahead and watch the video. Give everybody about 1 minute. And then to fill in the chart. All right, I see some people already filling in the chart. You can just write in a couple things to get the idea. I used this lesson before I taught them about volume of cylinders, but it was the next activity after the Notice and Wonder. Started getting students thinking about cylinders. Now, if I want to share student work, hang on, I'm going to anonymize so we don't show anybody, but I can show this students every work. What do you notice? They're building something. It's a huge coffee cup. I've never seen that brand of coffee. What are they building? How does it taste? Good question. Okay. So I can flip through and show, oops, that was not what I wanted, and show other students' work. So far we're at the independent stage. Okay. So we're going to flip to the next question. It says the Gourmet Baskets team wants to break the record for the biggest coffee cup. Will that cup be enough to break it? How many gallons of coffee do you think will fit inside? What mathematical questions could you ask? So let me go back to what happened to anonymous. So Abraham, that's not a good, can you please ask a question? What mathematical questions? So that means we need a question mark at the end, right? Let's see, how long does it take? How many gallons does the cup hold? How tall is the cup? Absolutely. So it gives students a while. After students have written in their questions, I then have them turn and talk to a partner and share the questions they wrote. So maybe that it'll help them think of additional questions. Okay. All right, now what I want you to do, and you can watch the video again if you'd like. The directions are now to give an estimate, okay? So you'll notice on the screen, it says a lower limit, an upper limit, and their estimate. The lower limit would be something that's kind of reasonable, but they think it's too low. Upper limit is something they think is reasonable, but too high. So you wouldn't say lower limit 0 and upper 1,000,000, because that's not reasonable. So go ahead, everyone, just put in a lower limit, an upper limit, and then what do you think? How many? And look, notice that it says how many gallons. So we're looking at gallons of coffee, okay? Will fit in the cup. So go ahead and everybody go ahead and put your estimates in. I can flip to the responses view and I can see what people have written, okay? What's really cool about this template, and I'm going to share this template with you, is that the calculations you're going to see in a minute are already done for you behind the scenes. On this one, the responses for the next screen, students kind of sketch their estimate, right? So if their lower limit, if their actual estimate is halfway between their lower and upper limit, right, their line's going to be in the middle, but maybe they estimated closer to their higher limit or closer to their lower. Again, it's just helping students visualize the numbers, because we know that's something students really struggle with. As a teacher, I can do a quick little overlay and see everybody's estimates kind of, right? In the next screen, students have to explain how they came up with their answers. What gave them that idea? Again, think time and then discuss with a partner. And we're just going to kind of fly through. This is super cool because now it graphs it for them and they can see all the class information, all the classes estimates together. So I can see that, and I'm just going to make this big. Most of the class estimated somewhere between 0 and 15,000 gallons. Okay. But we've got a couple of people up here at 60,000 gallons, right? So we can kind of see, and then how do you think your estimate compares to what other people said? Right? So it does the histogram straight for you. And depending on the numbers, it's how good the histogram looks. Okay. All right, moving on. Now we ask students, what is it you need to know in order to solve the problem? So go ahead and type a couple things. You asked your mathematical questions already. You've done a little estimating. So what do you need? What information do I need to give you if you're going to be able to solve this? The size of the cup, right? The dimensions, the height of the cup, the circumference of the cup, right? So I ask students be as specific as possible. So I see a few people are being extremely specific. We need the volume of the mug, right? The height, the circumference. So in fact, now we're going to move on to Act 2. So that was all Act 1. That was all the tapping on prior knowledge and getting kids excited and interested in the problem. So in the next screen, this is now Act 2, and I've given you this information. So the height of the cup is 7 feet. The diameter is 7 feet. Do you think you have enough information now to solve the problem? Some people are saying no, some people are saying yes. So in fact, you do have enough information now, but you're going to need to do some work. So now you're going to go and actually answer the question. And this is where I let students work together to solve the problem. So you can go ahead and solve the problem. Well, we're not going to do that now. We're going to skip that. But this is where I would give students time to talk together, work together, solve the problem. I let them use any resources. So remember, I said I haven't taught volume of cylinders yet, but so what do you need to know? They can look it up. They can use their phone, the calculator, and internet, whatever they need. They might, how do I find out volume of a cylinder or volume of a coffee cup, whatever they want to search. And now they have the tools to solve the problem. So basically, I've given them a reason to use this formula instead of me just saying, here's a formula, let's do 30 problems, because we all know that's super boring. And that doesn't help with long-term retention. All right, so let's just pretend we solved it. We have our answer. They're now going to watch the video, and I'll just zoom to the end. I do believe it says here how many cups. Where is it? Oh, I don't know where it went. Somewhere in here, it does say how many cups. And let's just play this really quick and find it so that you can see. Oh, maybe he announces how many cups. But anyway, then students then evaluate their work and their response and see how close they were. First in their estimate and then in the actual. All right, any questions about 3-act math tasks? This is how they work. And I've got a whole spreadsheet that I'll share with you with a ton that are pre-created for you. I'll also share the link to this Desmos template. So all you really have to do, I'll just show you how I did it. I used the template. I went to the first slide. I pasted in the video. I just literally took the link from the video and I put it into the template. I did the same thing here. Oh, and I changed the question. Actually, I didn't even change this one. Watch the video, complete the table. What do you notice? What do you wonder? But on this one, I did change the question and I put the video again. I then didn't have to do anything else till I came to Act 2, where I put the image, and Act 3, the video. But all the text, and except for the part where you just need to personalize the text for the story, it's all done for you, and all the mathematics behind it are done for you. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I love Graham Fletcher's stuff. Thank you for sharing, Kim. All right, any questions about Notice and Wonder? All right, I'm going to jump back to Nearpod, and when I change the slide, you should get the next slide. So I will tell you, this is one of my favorite strategies with students. I've done error analysis for years, but to varying degrees of success. But when I started using Nacho Problem, I had instant engagement with my students, and they all love Nacho Libre there. So here's how it works. You take one problem, and I love to use student-generated problems that contain an error. Okay. Now, when I use a student problem, I always get that student's permission. I tell them I will not tell anyone who did it. But 9 times out of 10, the student, when their problem comes up, they're like, that's my problem. I did that. So they're owning up to their mistakes, which is good to really build that growth mindset. All right. They take the problem with the error. They have to identify the error. They have to collaborate about ideas to improve and do the problem correctly. And then they actually redo the problem correctly. And we're going to try this out today. So to do this, I'm actually going to put everybody in breakout rooms. We're going to do breakout rooms. We're going to do 3 people in a breakout room. So give me a second. Assign manually include. How many people do we have in here? We have 27. So we're going to do 9 breakout rooms. We'll do 8 breakout rooms. So maybe you have a few more. All right. We're not going to open them yet, though. sign automatically. Nope, don't include co-host, sorry. Okay. All right. In just a second, I'm going to open the breakout rooms, and here's your task. You're going to look at the problem. You're going to get a shared slide deck. Okay. So everyone is on, all 27 people in the room are on the same slide deck. But with your group, there's 2 problems to choose from. You're going to choose one of the problems, and then with your group, you're going to go through the steps, figure out what the mistake is, see if you can figure out why that person made that mistake, because that's really important, why the mistake was made. Then you're going to solve the problem together. Okay. Like I said, with your group, you can choose any slide. Do put your names at the top. I tell students, the minute you get on a slide, you put your name at the top. That makes it yours, and nobody else can do it. Okay. I'm only going to give you about 5 minutes, maybe 7. There's 2 problems. The first one is about snowballs. The second one is a recipe for berry jam. And if you have questions, please go ahead and pop those in the chat. Everyone should now have access to the shared slide deck. And I'm going to go ahead and open the breakout rooms. So about 5 minutes, go. Everybody go ahead and jump into a breakout room. Everybody should be invited. Pick a slide and start solving. All right.
I had to join on my phone because it says that the iOS on my Mac did not support the Zoom or the link. So I didn't get an invite. I'm not sure for a
Here,
breakout room.
I'll just move you into one. How's that sound?
Okay.
There you go. Oh, wait,
Thanks.
did you go? Did you get it in? There we go. All right, hang on, let me pause record. All right, closing the breakout rooms. Everybody come on back. All right. Welcome back, welcome back. So what'd you think? Go ahead and type your ID, your feelings in the chat. How was that? So as you're typing in your feedback for this activity, I'm going to go ahead and share a few slides with you. I want to show you a couple things first. As I said, I always have students put their name in the top right away, so that they claim their slide. I like the shared slide deck because then students can go back and look at other people's work and maybe get other ideas, right? So for something maybe they didn't think about. The slide deck initially was, well, it still is set to anyone with the link can edit. But when time's up, I then change those settings to anyone with the link can view. That way, they're not still editing, at midnight tonight, right? Or they're not going in and messing stuff up. As a teacher also, I can use the slides view. It's the bottom left-hand corner under the strip. And now I can see every student or every group. And as a teacher, I can walk around or log in virtually and have conversations with the groups to see if anyone needs help, if anyone's stuck. But because they're working together, I've kind of lowered the affective filter so every student feels comfortable. And if students need to just listen, that's good too. As I said, I like to use student problems. These were actually not from students. I got them from a website, which I'm going to share with you here. These actually came from this Jennifer Finley, her website. She has error analysis problems for every grade level. But there's also real world math mistakes. This is a great website. I have Wakelet with more resources on Nacho Problem, and there's a couple other templates if you didn't like that template. But your students really are the best source of problems because those are authentic. And if students then correct their mistakes and they understand why a mistake was made, even if it's somebody else's mistake, they're much less likely to make it again. All right, any questions about Nacho Problem? And by the way, this comes from the EduProtocols Field Guide, Math Edition, started by Lisa Nowakowski. So you can look her up and there's resources. Any questions? All right, a quick few shameless plugs. First of all, QUE.org is a professional organization based out of California that supports teachers using technology to improve student teaching and learning. And I happen to be the current president of the Orange County affiliate. And I wanted to let you know that we have a virtual event. Oh, I forgot the date. It's October 11th. It's going to be 5:30 to 8 Pacific Daylight Time. And our topic is media literacy and digital citizenship in the age of AI. It's going to be free. If you're available that evening, we'd love to have you join us. Okay. And you can get more information at q.org, CUE.org. Second shameless plug. A couple weeks ago, I launched my passion project, which is a podcast called Building Classroom Community. My why is that I get so many questions from teachers struggling with classroom management and just the nuts and bolts of daily teaching. And they want strategies to streamline a lot of those things so they can teach more, right? So that's kind of what my podcast is about. Please share it. Please subscribe. You can find it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Episode 2 dropped yesterday. The audio is much better than the video, but I'll get a little bit better as we go. And it's kind of fun because my son composed the music for it. But it's a work in progress. And if people have ideas that they want to share, ways you do some of the things that I'm sharing, please add, keep the conversation going because, we're all better together. I know that you are a Canvas district, and I do have a bunch of Canvas videos, YouTube tips of the day, Canvas tips of the day. Please enjoy those as well. I love your theme this year, Back to the Best. I was at the Canvas conference in StructureCon in Denver at the end of July, and I got a picture with a real DeLorean. It was super, super cool. So I just kind of had to throw that in there. Finally, BCS STEAM wants to thank all of their sponsors and donors. What an amazing lineup. And it's so great that they can support you to have this wonderful opportunity. Attendance and feedback, already said that. And Shelley's going to put the link to the whole presentation in the chat. If you have any questions, I'm going to stop sharing, but feel free to hang out and we can chat for a few minutes. So thanks for joining me today.